is up, everybody? How are we doing today? It's your Melball. There's your Andre. We're here for another incredible episode of the Stardom Review, a bi-weekly breakdown where we take a look at Japan's all-female wrestling company, Stardom. What an incredible couple nights we have to talk to you about. We're going to be breaking down the last 3 nights before going into the finals of the 5-star Grand Prix. Andre, how are we doing today?
I'm doing great. I've been watching so much great Joshi wrestling over this last little bit. And all I can say now is I'm getting mad at New Japan for doing the same thing that Stardom does and holding their big shows back.
Oh my
but I'm
gosh.
so happy I got to see these and satisfied my want for Japanese wrestling at least for a little while.
Just for a little while. And what an interesting mix of shows we've had to go on. We're going to get into it right away. Let's kick it off, Andre. Let's go into night 18. 18, yes?
Night
Yes,
18.
Starting or happening on September 23rd. Wow. Where do we want to start with this? We got Natsupoi versus Sayaida. This match was just the perfect combination for me of little lady wrestling. It's the smallest girls in the company, and you got the powerhouse of Sayaida with the, again, the deceptive power of Natsupoi. This match was quite a banger. There was one point where I have noted here that Sayaida was just reversing everything that Natsupoi was doing and answering it with a chop. And man, as we've mentioned before, can that girl chop? The screaming that Natsupoi was just squealing out as she's getting those machine gun chops from Ida.
Yeah.
Even the ref even got pulled in at one point and was just getting worked right over. But at the end of this one, it was Natsupoi managing to pin Ida after a pretty hard-fought battle. But this match was very entertaining for me. You got to see that incredible acrobaticness that Natsupoi always brings to her matches, and of course the incredible power that Sayaida always brings into her matches.
Yeah, like I had to pick this as one of the two that we chose for the night 18 because like I thought both, like I'm a huge fan of Saeed, I'm a huge fan of Natsupoi, and these two coming together for this match, I really liked it. And you got to really see Saeed to really look dominant against a more experienced person, where she's looked good in other matches, but she's never looked like the dominant person. Like, so getting to see her be the dominant one, like really controlling a lot of it, I really like. It's the greatest hits of Saida. Again, she's still newer, so she does a lot of the same things every match. I don't fault her for that. Again, early in your career, you do need to follow a pattern, but I love the pattern that she has: the machine gun chops, the arm trap Northern Lights, that shoulder off that she comes flying off the top with. I find her so charming, and the way she puts everything together, it's so easy to continuously watch her, especially over a tournament like this. We're going to see her wrestle like 12 or 13 times, whatever it is. You really get behind what they're doing with it, and I love it so much. And like we actually we were at an independent show last night, and we even both mentioned because the cartwheel power bomb that Natsupoi does. We literally watched one of the local competitors, Ava Lawless, do a version of it. And I was like, we were both like, was that the Natsupoi move? And we're like, yeah. We're like, I think so. And it was just I love the difference in Natsupoi's offense, that she does incorporate these cartwheels into things. When she's on the ground and does the spin kick on her knees, I think is really impressive, because I've never seen anyone else do a kick quite like that. And the fact that she picked up the win not with one of her regular finishers, but with the SOS, Kofi Kingston's old finisher. Again, I haven't seen her win with that over this entire tournament. So for her to pull out a new move and get that win, I thought very impressive, and I thought wonderful match from both these ladies.
100%. I've got nothing else to add on to that. It was such a match for me. Again, it was my pick of the night.
Well, that was my pick of the night.
Oh yeah, your pick of the night. Yeah, sorry, it was the second pick for me. My pick was the main event. Suri versus Tam Nakano.
I messed that up. There we go. There it is.
And you know, man, these two, I mean, I don't know for certain because I haven't seen her hold it yet, but I'm fairly certain Tam is actually a former world champion. Suri being the current world champion. The two of them were very much so fighting for points at this point. Suri I had with a top rope suplex, almost feeding directly into, I think I always refer to you for the moves. Was it a Kimura lock that she fed her into?
Yeah, it was a flip over with a Kimura coming down, and then she ended up transitioning it into an armbar.
Yeah, just the incredible technical prowess of the world champion is just absolutely incredible. The match itself extremely hard hitting. Like I said, they were fighting for points at this point. And Suri, you know, world champion. We've mentioned this a few times before. She has taken a couple losses. She has taken a couple pins, a couple submissions. What does that mean for those women who got those pins and submissions for the world champion? Yeah,
you have to fill till December. You have to fill till December 29th. So they're gonna have a good few spots to really set up for Suri going forward, and to, I think, really build her up for the match with the eventual winner of this tournament.
100%. And the one thing that I did note at the end of this match was there was one point, obviously, Suri, we're mentioning the technical prowess. She did submit Tam Nakano at the end of this match. And I did mention to you before, I was a little concerned after the match seeing a couple people that we don't normally see kind of rush into the ring, being like the ringside medic and the ref tending to Tam Nakano. I'm not certain, but I'm pretty sure that something got clunked out of there during that submission, and we watched the ref put something back in there.
It may have been. It's just I don't know if it was quite that, but it was a hard hitting contest between both these women, and because of what the power of Suri is, I think whether it did pop out of them, because she did work on the night of the finals, the next night actually, and then the night of the finals. So it doesn't seem like it's anything serious if something actually popped out, or if it was just to sell how brutal that match ended up being too. So
100%. Because like, as someone who has dislocated my shoulder, it does pop out every once in a while. It is fairly painful when it does pop out, but it is fairly easy to pop back in and go about your business, unless you leave it out for an extended period of time. Then your muscles aren't too happy when they go back. But you know, yeah, after that, also at the end of this match, there was a phenomenal promo cut by Suri to kind of close off the show. Just a picture perfect way to end night 18.
Like, just before the promo part, like, Tam looked so disheartened, because if you actually look at the way the points were going, and then what she did the night after, if she would have won this match and then did what she did the night after, she would have been the leader in points, and with a win on the final night could have solidified the final. She could have had the final solidified on night 19 if she had beaten Suri here. But again, it's all building up to what was an incredible final night, which we will be doing on the next episode coming out in a couple days. But and you can see the disheveled the loss, how it affected her. And it was like incredible facials from this girl, and how much she sold the unhappiness of losing. And losing to the champion is nothing to be ashamed of, because she is the champion for a reason. But it's still, you can see it on her face, it's like she saw that guarantee slipping away.
100%.
Yeah. All right. So we are going to move on to night 19. And we are going to talk about Mayu Iwatani, my pick, versus Momo Watanabe. Okay, so I have said on here in the past, I have not been a fan of Momo Watanabe, Starlight Kid, and Saki Kashima in this tournament for some of the outside interferences that come. Barring the outside stuff that did happen in this match, I thought this was a wonderful match. Like this is the best I've seen Momo Watanabe work the entire time, including the stuff with the wrench. It was one of the first times I didn't hate the wrench coming into it and truly affecting the end of it, because she did get the, as they call it, the spanner, but it's a wrench to us, at least here in Canada and North America. But, she put it in, and the up kicks. Like, I know it's behind, like it's selling like she's getting kicked in the face with a wrench. It's behind a kick pad, but that still can't feel good for either woman, because that's a solid piece of metal you're kicking into somebody's face, and that's a solid piece of metal being driven into your shin when you connect with somebody, because the up kicks look pretty dang brutal. But I was very impressed by both these women. Mayu went for a suicide dive, but Momo ended up cracking her with a chair. But I was like, what the hell? I was like, why didn't the ref call it? But I just noticed in the background right after she hit her that one of the members of Oedo Tai was up on the other side of the ring distracting. I was like, oh, okay.
Rina,
they're actually protecting the refs in this and not making them look stupid like some of the times in New Japan. Still love that company, but there's some times they really screw with me on that stuff. But in the end, Momo stops a crucifix bomb and then gives her the up kick to the head with the wrench in the boot, and then hit the Peach Thunder, which is the half Nelson driver, and gets the win. Like, just, I thought wonderful contest from both women.
I actually have to agree. This was actually the highest rating match I had in a little bit for someone from Oedo Tai. The jump start at the beginning, I mean, House of Torture stuff, this is exactly what we expect out of Oedo Tai. I also noted there was a point where the Starlight Kid actually pulled Mayu's feet right in front of the ref. The ref was just standing there looking at her and doing it. And I was like, come on, this is an automatic disqualification. That was the only time, though, that I saw the ref actually seeing everything. Everything else, as you mentioned, was being protected by the other people kind of working in the match. But you're absolutely right. At the end of that match, Momo beat the absolute hell out of Mayu Iwatani, and she earned that win 100%. That was actually an incredible match. It wasn't House of Torture.
No, it unlike the House of Torture, which starts with crap and then just keeps staying crappy for what they end up doing and all the crap they do. They kept the outside interference at the beginning, and then with the chair shot, like selling it, doing it properly. That way, you still got a good quality match. Momo, I'm appreciating her more and more as this tournament has gone along, and I see her, from what I have heard, how good of the professional wrestler quality she had exuded before going the Oedo Tai route. But I really, really enjoyed this match.
I as well.
We are going to move on to, there we go, the next match that Mel picked for night 19.
Yes, this was an incredible heavy-hitting power match. Tam Nakano versus Utami Hayashi Shida. But let's just give credit where credit is due to Miss Queen Hayashi Shida there. Holy man. Not only is she a captain of Queen's Quest, she is the captain of the karaoke team. She introduced this match by singing along with Tam Nakano's song. She's absolutely,
that was
absolutely butchering it. I'm not gonna lie.
Yes, but I've never actually seen an opponent sing the song as the other person comes out. And I just made me laugh when I'm watching, and I'm like, are you serious? Like, I don't watch a lot of the entries. I usually skip through them a lot. But once I saw when I was hit this point and I see Tommy singing, and I'm like, I gotta watch this. And it was just
such a trip.
it was a mind trip, man. Like,
And that's exactly the point. And that's what makes partially why Hayashi Shida is my absolute favorite female wrestler right now. She knows how to mess with people in the same way that Tetsuya Naito knows how to mess with people. Naito's just a lot more casual about it. Hayashi Shida is
yeah, very
obviously
much
a
so.
little bit more eloquent about it.
Yeah.
With this match, um, like I mentioned, huge back and forth with these two. There was Germans back and forth with the Germans is
Oh,
the
German,
thing
and then
that
another
I've
German, and
noted
another.
the most.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, German suplexes are one of my personal
Because
favorite
I think it
moves.
was one. So they hit a German, then the other one hits a German, then the other one hits a German, then the other one hits a German. It was
Back
like,
and
holy
forth.
crap! And then
Yeah.
Utami hit a bridging German for
Mhm.
a two afterwards. It's just like, holy crap!
And I gotta say, like, Germans, for the simplicity that they are one of my favorite moves to see in professional wrestling because there are so many different varieties that you can do with them, and you can make them look a lot cooler, a lot not cooler. That you can kind of almost add your own touch of flair on them.
Oh
But
yeah,
at the end, Utami pins Tam Nakano with what she calls the Jack Bomb,
the
which is
hijack
like,
bomb. Yeah,
yeah, that
yeah. It's spinning
spinning
Razor's
razor's
edge.
edge.
Yeah.
And then what I appreciated afterwards was Tam doing her little pose at her and the little kind of little joust they had afterwards where Tom was trying to convince Utami to kind of be that fun-loving thing again, but Utami was like, "No, we're done. Our match is done. I'm back to serious Utami."
Yeah, and then and if you actually watch the camera of Tam leaving, the face went right back to the same as the night before after facing
Mhm,
Suri. Because again, she's at 14 points at this point. Had
mhm,
she taken the win and went to 16, I think yeah, 14 to 16. If she had been at 16, she would have had to have lost and then somebody won to beat her in a tiebreaker on the final and be somebody who had the win over her earlier on to point against her at 16 if she and then a draw would have guaranteed her a win on the finals. That was
mhm,
where I really looked at it, and you could see her on her face again selling that I couldn't lock it up kind
mhm,
of look on her face, and it was like heartbreaking. Like the facials that Tom Nakano does, her and Natsupoi, they're just like they have such good like ability in their face to like make you like hurt for them. It's just
mhm.
it's
It
just
breaks your heart.
yeah, it very much does. So before we move on to night 20, we are going to talk about what was the main event of the evening, and that was the three-way match for the high speed championship. Azumi, the current high speed champion, taking on former high speed champion Hazuki, and the creepiest person who will haunt my dreams for the rest of my life, Fukigen Death. I don't know how to say
Fukigen
it.
death. Fukigen death, yeah.
Fukigen Death. But like,
Death, death, Fukigen death.
that image right there is going to haunt me till the day I die. The match that I watched, her in that match will haunt me till the day I die. Like legitimately, this her like I it bothers me. Like it's just creepy in my opinion.
Well,
Sorry
I've
to
always
say.
stood by the ideal and the idea that Oedo Tai is not really like a group of bad people. It's almost to me like a venom symbiote. It's
So a
an
group of
evil
bad
entity.
gimmicks is what you're saying.
It's almost like a bad entity that takes over your being and makes you an evil version of yourself. I think that Fukigen Death was probably a happy clown before joining Oedo Tai. To see her come in with Oedo Tai, though, I'm creeped out by clowns myself. I'm not particularly
Mm,
okay with them,
I hate
but
them.
she adds an element of entertainment to it, especially when she's like kind of coming out in the dog collar with Saki Kashima,
Yeah, Saki like
the
leading her to the
newspaper.
ring. Yeah,
Yeah, she
very.
comes out
It
in this
very much.
little
It would very much felt like well, it was a guy part of. He was part of Suzuki Gun. He had the iron fingers.
Iska.
Iska. Yeah, it reminded me of Iska because again
Mhm.
they brought him out on the chain. I feel like this
The only thing
character
he
is
doesn't do is bite.
I feel like this character is kind of a tribute in a sense,
Mhm.
like the way they're doing the character, presenting it in the
Mhm.
being led to the ring. I think it's a tribute to Ishka. Like I really do.
Mhm.
It's
And
very similar,
she's
and
such an
somebody that
incredible
changed their character
wrestler on top
completely.
of that.
Yeah, because again, from everything I've read, Freaking Death was a great wrestler and character who went crazy and became this. And the same thing happened to Ishka. He was a great wrestler who went crazy and started playing with iron fingers.
I mean, we're
But
not gonna question these people's life choices.
but I do have to say there were some promos at the beginning of this, and
Mhm.
like there I was thinking it was Azumi saying this is the second time all three have faced off in a match for this title, and it's Azumi's seventh title defense. Hazuki says she wants to win, and was it Freaking Death said death to high speed, death to high speed, death to high speed. I think that's all she said. So
She's a special one, that one.
yeah, she's an interesting character, but like again, this match lived up to the high speed what it's called, the high speed. It was fast. It was like there was always at least two people in that ring just going, and like I've got notes after notes, just some of the great stuff. Like there was some great dives to the outside, and uh so like there's a great double knee face buster by Hazuki, and then to both of them, and then get the crossface on Azumi. There was this they tried, I think it was they tried to do that's in the next show, but there's just some really good stuff. There's like I love Azumi using the La Mystica, where it's
Mhm.
the tilt-a-whirl into the armbar. Like she does it so beautifully. She does it better than Sin Cara or whatever the hell he's going by now. She does that far better than he ever
Mystico.
did. Oh yeah, but like, in the end, Azumi does retain the championship with the Azumi Sushi, and yeah, it's and
Despite
after the match,
interference.
yeah, after the match, Hazuki she got a chance to talk, and she said she congratulated her on getting another win, and she hopes that Azumi can actually get the break the championship record. I don't honestly know what the record is,
I don't either.
but there's I guess there's a record for defenses that
Mm.
Hazuki said she couldn't quite break. So
Mhm.
it must be a decent record if they're talking about maybe she might break it, maybe she might not. So
We'll have to look into that, get back to you guys.
I'm literally looking into that right now. Oh, da, 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 da,
There was
da.
a little bit of interference at the end there, obviously, Oedo Tai being House of Torture,
Mhm.
getting involved in there. But again, despite the interference, Azumi was able to kind of overcome
Nine.
those odds and
Nine. Not
9
nine by
defenses.
Mayu Iwatani. So
Ah.
Azumi's only two defenses away from tying it,
Mhm.
and three defenses away from breaking it, essentially. So
Ooh.
yeah, and Hazuki made it to 8. Is where she came up short at getting the record. But yeah, and then afterwards you had Utami come out along with who was they said yeah, Utami and Sayakama Tommy came out and they won a challenge with Azumi for the Artist of Stardom Championship. If I understood that right, again, I was
Oh, yes, yeah.
yeah, because
Yes.
yeah, the three of them won a challenge for the Artist of Stardom titles against Oedo Tai,
Mhm, mhm.
which
Yeah,
is a
Kamitani
crazy
couldn't
team.
come out because she got wrecked by Julia the match before, but yes, they did challenge with, Kamitani's name in there.
Yeah, they did say they did mention her. So
Mhm.
like I that's like I can't see them not winning because it's an
Yeah,
incredible team. Like you have the former World Star champion Sayaka Matami, isn't she the current Wonder
current
champion?
wonder, yeah.
And Yumi the high speed champion. How do they not beat Oedo Tai? Like if they don't, I'm gonna be like I'm gonna be a little hurt inside.
It's gonna be the team of Queen Quest 2 belts.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting, right? Well, at least for 2 of the 3 of them, because Tommy doesn't have nothing else. But yeah,
that could change.
We are going to move on to the night 20, the final championship night, which was only featured 2 5-star Grand Prix matches, and that first one was Hanan versus Saida, 2 very young, 18 and 25, but 2 very women very young in their careers are taking this match. And I will say this: I enjoyed this match, but I will say I did notice the lack of, how do I say this? The lack of fluidity between the 2 of them due to their inexperience, because you can see times where they were like pausing, trying to figure out what to do next, but it wasn't like they were like going for like 5-6 seconds. It was like it was an extra couple seconds more than most do. That's the thing. And you could kind of see the inexperience, but I thought really good match from the 2 of them. Again, like I said earlier with Saida, again, greatest hits for her, but again, she's young. She's going to hit greatest hit. It's going to be the similar matches from her every time. But again, she's still learning. She's still young. She's going to get better and better, and she's going to develop into, I think, a really good wrestler for Stardom, and I think a championship contender down the road. Hanan too. Like I think this girl is phenomenal, and her 2 little sisters are in this company too, in Rena and Hina. And I think the sky's the limit for this girl, because just some of the stuff they do, and like standing up to a forearm battle with Saida is one thing, because Hanan is like, both girls are small girls, but Ida's jacked as hell, and Hanan trying to pose. No, that was the other match, but like just getting beat up, but like coming back just as hard. It's impressive in my opinion. And then like Hanan reversing a brainbuster, and then Ida immediately reversing it into an Itabashi pin, with Hanan immediately reversing out of the pin into a crucifix for herself for 2. I found very impressive transitions there, where that was a very, like, it shows the skill in them, that there wasn't like pause and there was just transition. It was really quick. But in the end, the Dominator. I wrote this really, really badly. Yeah, Hanan hits like a Dominator slam, and then kind of a sloppy Famouser. It looked like it barely caught Saida, and then she followed up with what was a very actually nice V trigger, and then a German to get the win. Which, like, for both these girls, again, late in the tournament in points, they're really needing that.
And I was very, very happy with this match. I know Hanan had been struggling in this tournament, especially. I had mentioned I was very disappointed that she hadn't been on like, it took her a very long time to get those first 2 points, and I think this was her third and fourth points coming out of the tournament. I'm very happy she didn't finish with a 0, just because she is the future of Stardom champion. It would have been really not a good look for her to come out of there without any points, regardless if it is her first kind of tournament. I think you're muted there, Andre. But just one more thing. I think that this was the match that I had mentioned to you where I saw Saida do her Spinebuster, where she got completely airborne because of how little she is. And I thought
it looked like almost a spear coming down.
Yeah,
a spear. Yeah.
I just thought it was so adorably powerful. Like, it's one of those things where you're like sitting there trying to like, oh, that was so tough, but oh, she's so cute. Look at her little feet coming off the ground.
I call her the little muscle girl for a reason.
What a match. But yes, this was a really good match. I was honestly surprised with the result. I did expect Ida to pick up a win over Hanan, but I was very happy that Hanan did get a few more points.
Yeah, and again, I'm not surprised seeing Hanan get the losses she has gotten, just due to the fact that she is very young, only a couple of years in, and it didn't surprise me. It really didn't. The fact that she got a couple of wins is great, and it just she didn't need it, even though she is the future Stardom champion. It's the future Stardom champion. She's a champion of the new girls.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't hurt me to see the more experienced people beating her. It does to me.
100%.
Yeah. So from here, we are going to move on to the second and final 5-star Grand Prix match of the night. It is Starlight Kid versus Suzu Suzuki.
Whew. What a match this was, man. Starlight Kid, she's a fun one because she's like almost literally like a personification of like a little Mighty Mouse, because she's got the little tiger mask with the ears and everything, so she's already kind of got the get up. But like, what I love about her is she has such a loud mouth and she backs it up. She's one of those people who I feel is like almost like, I don't want to say cocky, but like she knows her skill and she knows she's good. And at the same time, you got Suzu Suzuki, who's, very young, but very experienced at what
Yeah,
she
I was
does.
so surprised with how young Suzu Suzuki is. Like
Yeah,
it's kind of insane. Like,
it is.
Jesus.
But to see these two women tangle up, just the raw power of Suzu Suzuki. Again, I've made the remark that she's taken the Suzuki name. She's relishing in that just pain that she can put other people through, much like another Suzuki on NJPW. And I love it because, like, no offense to Minoru Suzuki, she's a little prettier to look at. Don't tell Minoru Suzuki that. He might kill me. But
Come on, he knows.
he was a stud in the 90s, though. Let's not lie.
Dude, look at it. I've seen the pictures of him as a young man.
I'm sure I've
he's a very
shown
handsome man.
him. But Suzu Suzuki, again, just raw power. She was feeding it to Starlight Kid, and I almost felt a certain level of respect coming out of Starlight Kid. At the same time, like attitude, like how dare you hit me that hard? But hey, you hit me that hard. It was almost like, could we see Prominence almost kind of hitching up with Oedo Tai in a similar way that Colors has with the Cosmic Angels?
Not.
I don't want that, but it would make sense for the attitude that they're saying they kind of similarly have.
Yeah.
Just because Prominence does only have like I think it's 4 members right now, but only the 2 are actively at Stardom. So I don't know. We'll kind of see how that kind of plays out.
I think they'll be fine on their own. Honestly, I don't think Suzu and Risa need anyone else because they've been dominant as hell through this entire tournament. I think they're fine on their own, and I could see them maybe making Prominence its own proper faction in the company, getting their own banner up on the wall at certain shows.
I would like to see.
I would love to see that.
That would be really cool. I would like to see them, obviously, I'm that person who likes to see the structure of the teams and be like, this person can chase this belt. These people can chase these belts. These people can chase these belts. I'd like to see them have enough members that they can hypothetically chase every belt in Stardom. But then again, like, look at Queen's Quest. They kind of only have, 5, 6 members right now. They're a pretty decent sized team and they're doing pretty good for themselves. So, maybe you're right. They are good on their own. That being said, though, this match, I mean, Starlight Kid did her absolute best, but at the end of the match, she wasn't able to contend with the power that was Suzu Suzuki.
Yeah, Suzu ended up winning it with, if you go back to the days of TNA, and I can't remember his name now, but the Rolling Chaos there, the German suplex into a roll through into another German suplex with the bridge. Just impressive. I love that finisher. It's a classic finisher for me. And honestly, really great match. Just a power and just 20 years old. She's at the top of this block with 14 points, tied with about 5 or 6 other people. But the fact that she's 20 years old, very early in her career, and she's in the top of the block, the potential to win this block, a very high potential to win the Blue Stars block. It's impressive. Like, I think this girl's future, as long as she stays in Stardom, or
Mhm.
I think her future, no matter where she goes, is going to be huge. But I think if she stays in Stardom, because I don't know if she's a full timer or not, being that
Mhm.
she's with Prominence, who is an independent faction.
Mhm.
I could see her really succeeding in this company and really
Mhm.
being someone they push, especially how young she is. She's got years and years in front of her that she could lead this company as a strong heel or a strong baby face. Either or, I think she could do well with either. As like kind of like just a brutal face or like just a dastardly evil heel. I think either way, and by brutal I mean like just a like hitting people kind of
Power.
like
Yeah,
Stone,
absolute powerhouse.
Stone Cold style face, who's a badass,
Mhm.
but also is loved by everybody. I think she could do
Mhm.
either. Honestly, I really do. So,
100%.
so from here, we are going to go. We're going to step out of the 5-star Grand Prix for the rest of this show, and it was a Falls Count Anywhere fatal 4-way between Mayu Iwatani, Azumi, Maika, who on the right there, and then second from the raid, a person this is my first time seeing her wrestle,
Same.
Ram Kaicho. I'm gonna say it's like
Ra
Kaicho. I'm
I
gonna
think
say
so.
Kaicho.
Kaicho, yeah.
Yeah, Ram Kaicho, and this is where the show really kicked into a weird position in the fact that we got this Falls Count Anywhere fatal 4-way, which included I think it was Micah riding a bike down the ramp but
Yeah.
getting knocked off by Ram, and then actually at one point taking a bike and throwing it over the top rope at the three girls in the ring, who caught it, and then she springboard drop kicked it into them at one point. They were all fighting on the outside, went over to a plastic dome they all went inside of,
Like a
and they
bouncy castle.
yeah, it didn't seem so bouncy, but more
No.
explodey, as all these balloons they kept smacking each other in the face with had this like white powder in it that kept screwing each other up. And they
Mhm.
did this repeatedly for a bit. And then eventually they fight over to the door to go into the hallway of the venue. And they end up in the hallway. I think it was Micah taped Ram to
Mhm.
this like
A
cart,
trolley.
like a flatbed cart,
Mhm.
and she tied her to the back of it as Azumi and Mayu Utani were fighting and fell onto an escalator.
Mhm.
I was scared because you hear the stories of kids getting caught in escalators. I was scared that one of them might get caught in the escalator. I was like legitimately like, oh, please God, no. And then
Especially with all the dangly bits on their gear.
yeah, and then Micah goes up the escalator after them. They get to the top, and like Ram is like positioned right at the bottom of the
Still
stairs.
trying to drag herself around with her feet.
And then at the top, Micah and Azumi are beating on Mayu, and then both kick Mayu, and she just tumbles down the stairs. Like,
Yeah, this is that
oh
reckless disregard that I had mentioned to you about Iwatani, earlier in our shows, that she seems to just have this
yeah,
complete disregard for her own safety and just wants to get that reaction. I when I saw that, the first couple bumps, I was like, "No!" And then the rest of the stairs, I'm like, "Okay, you made this choice. You chose to
yeah.
take that bump."
Oh, it made me a little sick watching her roll down the stairs because like
Mhm.
it looked like her head just kept bouncing off steps, and I'm just like, oh,
And
it
then,
really
Micah taking the
bothered me.
smart way and just carrying Azumi down the
Well,
stairs.
they were both already walking down, kind of pushing at each other, and then
Mhm.
Azumi slipped and fell on the stairs on her ass. And that's when Micah picked her up and carried her the rest of the way down. That was why she fell about a third of the way down.
Yeah.
So Micah just picked her up. And I think she had white powder all over the bottom of her boots. And that's why I
Yeah.
think it was turned up on the steps.
So that
And
was
then,
actually Ram's thing. I don't know if you saw, she actually had, like, a container of it when they had a shot of them in the little castle. She was powdering everybody, including the
well,
ref.
The balloons, though, when they were
Oh, yeah, they were
popping,
filled with it
they were
also.
more coming. Well,
But
Ram
she
had it even
had, like,
earlier
a
on in the
makeup
ring.
container of makeup
Yeah.
where she was actually throwing it in people's faces, and there was
Yeah,
a
she
spot
actually
that
had it
went on
earlier in the ring too.
Yeah,
I saw
yeah.
that. Yeah, but like when Mayu rolled down the ramp, she ended up landing on the cart that Ram was
Mhm.
on, and
Mhm.
then Micah brings her, like carries Azumi down, throws her onto the cart, and she wheels the cart back in, has to go over this like hump in the covering the wires or something. She's like
Yeah.
fighting it, just yanks it over. And Azumi almost fell off the cart. She's kind of like, you can see her holding on a little bit. It was quite
Yeah.
funny, but then they bring it back to the ring, and this match was just pure utter chaos. I literally have like 2 pages of notes for this crazy match, and it's just that's when they get a ladder involved and they put it in the corner. And at one point, Suzuki, she's trying to climb it for some weird reason. She's
Suzuki.
going to do a moonsault, and then
Who?
the two
Who
of
was doing
them,
it?
Suzuki.
There's no
Just
Suzuki.
yeah, Suzuki was climbing the
There's no
ladder in the
Suzuki.
corner. Oh no, sorry, Micah. Micah, I apologize. I'm sorry, they're so
No,
similar
it's
looking. I
fine,
apologize.
it's fine. Micah,
So
yes, Micah was
Micah's
up there, yeah.
climbing it in the corner, and then two of them just grab it and throw her down, and it was just
Yeah.
it's just pure like utter chaos. And I think in the end,
Everyone but Micah won, didn't they?
Ram did it, like flipped over on Micah, and then Mayu flipped over on Ram, pinning her, like helping with the pin, and then Azumi pins Mayu. So the ref declares all 3 of them the winner, because technically Ram and Mayu didn't have their shoulders down, so it was them technically helping Ram hold Micah down. I guess, even though it was like literally a train of people. And you get 3 people technically getting the win in the match. I was like, it was just insanely confusing. Don't get me wrong, it's not the most confusing thing we watched on this show, but it was confusing.
It was a very, I would almost say, an organized Yano match, like a Yano match that made sense with tape.
I
People
don't think
tapes
Yano
to
could come
things.
up with this.
No, but like I said, organized Yano.
I don't think Yano could. I think Yano could have a more organized match than this. That's how insane I thought. Like just to it all up. It was fun. I had a great time watching it, but nothing made sense. Literally, the last part of my notes was, "What the fuck did I just watch?"
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah,
That is
I
the last
literally
thing I
wrote down
noticed.
what is happening. So we're in the same boat on that. That being said, though, let's feed into something that confused us even more, but that I'm sure a lot of the male people in the audience
I
probably
enjoyed
enjoyed.
it, but I was still insanely
And those
confused.
are
And by the
silly
end of it,
girls.
going, "This was not worth watching." This was not. You don't need to go out of your way to see this match. You really don't.
No.
It's essentially pointless unless you want to see girls in bikini tops.
If you wanna
That's
throw back to the dark times of women's wrestling in the
and
Attitude Era, this is
and
what you wanna
it's
watch.
not that much. In reality, it's their bikini tops are not that much more revealing than the gear they wear outside
That
of
is very true.
maybe Tam.
That's true.
Like you, especially with boobies on. I mean, if you're a cowboy, there ain't much of a difference there.
No.
But everything, it was just about revealing. It's just you explain this.
So essentially the Cosmic Rules match was a regular wrestling match. The only thing that changed is that water was now an acceptable form of attack. They could have called this essentially in the Attitude Era kind of days. This would be a bikini match or a water fight match. There was very minimal amount of actual wrestling happening, despite the amount of wrestling talent that was involved in this match. But I don't think this match was actually meant to be anything other than a thirst trap for
like literally early
males.
on in the match, I literally read Mina starts shaking her tits at Nat. Then Natsupoi tries to shake hers back, but then like she can't she's not boobies on as she's known as, and it's just they start smashing their tits into each other. But Nat can't knock over Mina, and it's just
It and that was about as much wrestling as there was. There's very, like I said, very minimal amounts of
this is a
wrestling.
spot I thought it was on the night before, but it's not. It's on this one. They actually tried for essentially a double Romero special, or the surfboard stretch where you hook them up and you bring them back, and they go to do it one on one arm and the leg, and they go up and they just falls apart as they start to go backwards. It just falls apart and they falls over, and I'm just like,
why though?
And then was it Unagi got hold of was it Unagi? Yeah, I think she got the first water gun, and then it just became a water gun fight. I think Mina Shirakawa got soaked first, so she took her shirt off.
Yeah, she was the only striptease in that one.
Yeah, and she showing why she's boobies on, and then
and they also watched the commentary.
And then more water. I didn't even. Yeah, they sprayed a couple of the girls of commentary, and then more water gun fights, and then they all run to the back. Unagi, I think, started opening up everybody's shirts.
Yeah, they were in like a Congo line of submission where everyone kind of had someone by the neck, and she just started ripping open their polo shirts.
And then the ring is just insanely slippery by this point. Like all the girls are slipping and sliding all over the ring.
Yeah.
And then the audio goes out because a song started to play and the audio went up because I guess there was a DJ doing the music for them that night, and they couldn't replay it on the Stardom-World, at least the DJ stuff from the main part of the show. They could only show the music from the 5-star matches. This was their actual entrances because none of the girls came out to their actual music, I guess. And all the girls run to the back as Unagi chases them, and then they all run back out, and then they all run to the back again. And I think it was a good 2 minutes at least of the girls just not being out there and the ref being insanely confused for 2 minutes. And then seeing every girl except Unagi come running out with towels on and then run into the ring, all slip and fall. Then Unagi saunters her way out, holding the bra tops of all the girls. And then her just yelling with the ref. I can't understand what's going on because nothing else happens at this point. Just yelling at the ref's yelling at her. And then he rings the bell, and that's where the feed cut off because the music started playing. So I double checked the result stuff I could find, and the ref disqualified Unagi but only Unagi, not her partner. Was it Mina
Shirakawa?
Yeah, sure. He didn't disqualify Mina Shirakawa. It was essentially everybody else kind of sort of won by disqualification, including the girl who got disqualified's partner got a win. I don't understand it. I really don't.
Yeah, this one just, as I said, it was just a thirst trap. I didn't put a whole lot of thought into it.
No.
And the investigation afterwards, I just know that they looked really excited at the beginning and not really excited at the end. And the following promo that was cut backstage, Mina was also very angry with Unagi. So
they're partners, and then Unagi turned on her essentially and tried to strip her down. So
who steals their tops?
I don't
see what I've been telling you about that Unagi. You can't trust her. She doesn't fit there.
But yeah, she's insane. But I think she's very entertaining as a pro wrestler, though. That's the thing.
She is, and a very accomplished wrestler.
Yeah. So yeah, it was just a convoluted mishmash of stuff that should be left in 1999. So
if you like girls, watch it. If you're not into it, don't watch it.
I like girls, and I don't even recommend people that do watch it because it's just utter pointless stupidity unless just gross almost.
Yeah, but it wasn't It wasn't their best moment, that's for sure.
No. So we're gonna move on to what was a better match than this, and it was a hardcore tag team match with the team of Julia and Rina Yamashita, who just came to the company a few shows ago, and I mentioned it on I think the last show that she came out to save Julia from Oedo Tai, setting up this tag team match of versus Oedo Tai's Momo Watanabe and Ruka. Ruka, sorry, I always say I think Ruka, whatever. But honestly, it was again not my kind of match, but it was still better than that Cosmic Rules match.
Yeah, I agree.
It was a plunder match, just people beating up each other with weapons, and yeah.
It was exactly what I expected, kind of out of a hardcore match. Just not to take away from it and the girls involved, but again, it's not my favorite kind of match. I don't do well with weapons and stuff like that. Seeing a local show here really messed that up for me in my head.
Well, I got messed up from years ago when what was his name? Nigel McGuinness had to retire because some a-hole didn't disclose that he had hep, and he caught hep in a ring from another wrestler. Yeah, that's when I went, I don't need to see blood in professional wrestling anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was just, again, there were some interesting spots. They had these like brick thingies that people punch through.
Tiles, yes.
Yeah, the tiles. I didn't know they're. And at one point,
Momo goes tiles to me almost like the roof tiles.
Well, they're like those tiles that people like punch, like karate people punch through and stuff. But like Julia's like laying on top of it, and Momo has a chain, and she goes to punch Julia, and Julia just ducks out of the way, and Momo punches through the bricks with the chain and just grabs her hand, and then Julia just kicks a chair into Momo's face, and I'm just like, what? And then there's at one point Rina's in the ring and she's beating the shit out of Momo with a chair. Then she throws more chairs on top of Momo and just creeps cracking her. Then Ruka comes in and she slams her on top and starts smashing him even more with chairs. I'm just like, holy crap. And then the other thing was, why was there tags? Literally, they were tagging in and out. Why? It's a hardcore match.
Why though?
There's no need for a tag. There's so much. There's so much.
It did feel like it kind of almost broke down at one point, and where it was almost like a zero control factor going on there, where it just kind of ended.
I'll say there was some cool stuff. Like there was one point, Rina hit a side rush and leg sweep to Ruka right onto a ladder. Oh, and then hit a high angle German onto that same ladder. It was just, it was rough, and it was just so much crazy. Ruka ended up cracking Julia in the head with a guitar, and the first time she hits her straight, like right on the, not right on the back part, but right on like the top where my bald spot would be, or my bald spot is, and like you can just see it. The guitar just splinter a little, and she full on smashed her. And I'm like, oh, they're not. I got really mad because they weren't using a work guitar. This was an actual guitar. It wasn't the fact that it didn't break with the power that she was swinging it with. Yeah, I've seen Jeff Jarrett use actual work guitars. They break like as soon as they contact, they break. This was not a Jeff Jarrett work guitar. This was real, and I don't ever need to see that because it's like, why do you have to do that? But again, this is Japan, and they do some crazy ass shit over here. But
they like their light bulbs and their sticks in the head.
Yeah, the finish came. Julia ended up putting Ruka on the top rope and hits a super butterfly suplex off the top. And then Rina hit a super fly splash off the top onto her, and then Julia hits her backdrop driver and pins Ruka for the win. It's hard to explain. It was enjoyable. There was a couple of breakdowns in the match, but I did enjoy it for the most part. Again, not what I want to see, but they didn't do blood, which brought this a hardcore match up for me, is the fact that nobody was bleeding like nobody was bleeding like a John Moxley, essentially.
I appreciate that.
That's the one thing that saved this match for me. If there was blood, I think it would have taken me out, because it's like it wasn't needed, because it was just as effective without blood as it would have been with blood. I think I thought, and it showed Rena was doing a lot of beating the crap out of people and showing why she is a deathmatch wrestler and doing some of the hardcore stuff she does. But yeah, just overall, I enjoyed it. But if you're not into plunder style matches, you will not enjoy it.
No, 100%.
Yeah. So from here, we are moving on to the final match of the evening, and it is a captain's fall match. I forgot to put the slide for the rules in, but the rules are as follows. If your captain is pinned on your team, you lose. If the two non-captains are pinned, you lose. Simple as that. I don't know who the captains on these teams were. I assume it was Suri and the girl
Yo-yo?
not wearing the mask. You?
Yo-yo? Yo-yo? I think it's yo-yo.
I just have it listed as you. You. But that's what it was listed off Cage Match when I copied and pasted the match in there for that. So I had all the names and their teammate. Yeah. But they are the Grim Reaper Army, the team of you and who was revealed to be Nane Takashi, who just faced Siri recently on one of the show. Was it the Stardom show we reviewed?
Correct.
And a person I've never seen before, Yuna Manase. They're the Grim Reaper Army taking on the Rossi Ogawa bodyguard army of Lady C, Suri, and Tommy Hayashishida. I assume Suri and you were the captains because neither got neither got eliminated, and yeah. Unless Lady C was the captain, which I doubt. Because she did get eliminated, but yeah.
Yeah, Lady C. Yeah, no, I kind of went into this having the same assumption that Suri was the champion the captain being the world champion, and that Yu was the captain of the other one. Yeah.
The thing I have to say about this match was the first 11 minutes were essentially pointless because this was a long match. And the first, I clocked it in when the match actually started to pick up and get to a point where I could actually take notes more than headlock or a kick. When I could actually take notes on something was at the 11-minute mark of the match. It was like 14 or 15 minutes on the actual video, but after the entrances. But yeah, it was 11 minutes into the match. It was long, but the crowd seemed pretty dead at this point after everything. I don't want to shit on it because two of the top girls in this promotion are in this match, and you have Nane Takahashi in this, who is a legend in Stardom, started Stardom, right? Like she was there at the beginning, and the crowd seemed very not into this. Like again, they're a Japanese crowd who aren't cheering, but you hear clapping all the time in these matches, and I didn't hear a lot of clapping. And
honestly, like as you mentioned, it was very slow to get into, other than just simple lockups and headlocks and just simple things. And where a lot of people can have the appreciation for the simple things, you got to kind of break it.
You got to give it something. Yeah. We just came from an indie show last night where the main event was Charlie Haas, which we will be talking about the show coming up next week on Chop Talk. But I'm just going to point this out. We watched Charlie Haas versus the local legend, Mitch Clark. But
urban legend.
But and it was a very mat-based amateur wrestling style match because that's what both of those men come from. Chef's kiss, I love that match, but a lot of the crowd were pretty quiet for it, and that's the same thing here. I think the crowd, part of it, they were tired after all the crazy that had already happened, and I think it's just this. I think the reveal was a little bit underwhelming for them. That's the other thing. So and I just realized you was not the captain because she got eliminated with Utami. So yeah, I'm guessing the captain ended up being Nane. because
That would make sense.
she's the legend of the team. So I'm
Yeah.
not going to go through a lot of what happened in the match, but we're going to talk about Tommy and you were brawling, and then Suri ended up kicking you in the head, and then she ends up kicking you in the head. Suri kicks you, and it takes Tommy and you to the outside to the floor. I guess being thrown over the top to the floor is an elimination in this. Again, that's a new rule that was added for this time because that did not happen in the last one.
No.
But, and then the finish came after, I think, the star of this match, Lady C, who worked for what she did really good for her part. For the crowd that was there, because after that elimination, I think that's where the match really kicked in the high gear. Was after the elimination of Tommy and you, is where like Lady C was pretty much in the rest, almost the entirety of the rest of the match, except for a couple little spots from Suri. And Lady C really showed how good she is. She was in a majority of this match, and yeah, I was just impressed. But the end of it came with Nane and Yuna getting knees to the head on Lady C, and then Nane went up to the top, hit her frog splash, and got the win. And that's it wasn't a bad match. Don't get me wrong. It's just it took a long time to me for this match to get going. For what the length of it was, it took a long time for it to get going. But I did read up after the match. There was a video featuring alpha female Jazzy Gabbard, who we hopefully will be talking about soon on when we get to hopefully eventually one day, someday soon.
Give us Royal Quest.
Review Royal Quest Nights 1 and 2. Whenever they drop on New Japan World. She appeared on the screen and said she was aligned with the Grim Reaper Army. And they are actually now going to be known as the Neo Stardom Army.
Interesting.
Yeah. So,
good development.
Jazzy Gabbard, and known in Stardom as Alpha Female, is really positioning herself to be, I think, a bigger player in the company going forward, especially with what's going on with the tournament. The results are out now. Jazzy Gabbard won her match at Royal Quest. So it's out online, came out because she was putting videos out after about, and they were already featuring stuff with her and Kyrie for their match on October 22nd. So I'm not really spoiling anything out of it. It's just that's what happened at Royal Quest. But yeah, I think they have a position for Alpha Female, and I think especially if she gets this championship, they're definitely going to need to feature her. So
100%. And it's good to see now that, COVID seems to be letting up a little bit in that end of the world, to start seeing some more of the people going in. They used to be very, very big for the people like Tony Storm, the Dewdrop, B. Priestley.
Piper Niven, give her real name.
Yeah, I prefer her name, but I don't know what she prefers now, so we'll just go with what she's saying. And of course, we still have Thekla on there. I'm excited at the prospect of bringing in more girls, and especially Jamie Hayter, also former Stardom girl. I would love to see that kind of open some doors up for an exchange, maybe between AEW and Stardom. I would love to see DMT, the team there, kind of facing off against a team from Stardom. How cool would it be to get the Queen's Quest girls over there to fight with Britt Baker and her girls? That would be amazing.
I would love that.
So,
love that. The only thing is, I think with I know they have a working relationship with New Japan itself, but they're also working with DDT over there because that's where Kenny's home promotion originally was. But they also have a working relationship with I think it's Tokyo Joshi Pro. I think is the one is who they actually have a working with, and Wave too, because that's where Hikaru Shida's been working, is over in Wave.
Correct.
So those are the two I know they have partnerships with. I would love to see Stardom girls coming in to AEW, because I think it would be so much fun. But yeah, I think there's so much to look forward to going forward with Stardom.
100%. So I think that brings us to the end of our reviews of the last 3 nights here of the Grand Prix, Stardom 5-star Grand Prix before getting into the finals. If you are interested in watching Stardom, you can go to their website, www.stardom-world.com. We will leave the link in the description box below. The price is about 920 yen. For me, I'm paying $10 a month, and it is the best $10 that I am spending, let me tell ya. Again, the link will be in the description box down below there.
And you can check out everything we do on Andre and Melball Wrestling Talk. I don't know where you're watching us. You might be watching us over here on Backbreaker Media, run by our friend right down here, Mike the Ref, who runs it money shows on Twitch, has his great YouTube channel. Check him out at Mike the Ref on Twitch. He's running every Wednesday doing simulcasts for AW Dynamite, and he's always putting out great content, either wrestling or video game related, which is the majority of his content now. I highly recommend it. And hopefully at this point you have seen our Twitch channel, because I'm planning, this is recorded before, but I'm planning to have already done a Twitch stream for our time, 2 a.m. in the morning, about the Declaration of Power show, so we can watch it live together. Hopefully Mel her internet will work for us to be able to watch along with me. But yeah, I will be doing that. That will have already be up on our Twitch page and hopefully coming to our YouTube page very soon. And yeah, you can catch me on Twitter at the bottom, say with Mel, and you can see our Instagrams over there. Yeah, so thank you very much for tuning in.
Yeah, and also, guys, stay tuned. We're going to be doing another Stardom review here to review the finals and
Friday!
The final night. Yeah, the final Friday. It's Final Friday.
It's good. Yeah, finals coming out on Friday.
And we'll have that up for you as soon as I can get on the editing there. That being said, we're coming to the end of our show here. I'm your Melball, Astrid shout out. That's your Andre. We will see you next time. Adios.